Hey, everybody, Gail Craft here in the Empowering Process podcast. I have with me a guest, and this is Jennifer Russo.
Urezzio.
Urezzio. Thank you, Jennifer. And Jennifer is a pretty magical person. We're going to talk a
Thank
little
you.
bit about what she does. She is the founder of and spiritual director of Soul Language. And so we're going to talk about what that means to you, what that means to her, what that means to the world, and how she's changing people's lives and their business. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited and honored to be here.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. Let's touch a little bit on soul work. I know that for me, it was something that I've always had a calling, but pretended I didn't. For a good portion of my life. And the universe would, tap me on the shoulder, give me a little shove, and sometimes push me through a
Mm.
wall to like, wake up, we're talking to you. Right. And now, I just lean in. I just listen and lean in and don't question direction anymore.
I
So
love that.
I know. And so many people are starting to wake up, and I want to talk a little bit about that too when we get to that point, because for me, it's not who's higher in the elevation, it's who's more awake. That's all. It's just who's more awake. So, Jennifer, how the heck did you get into this business?
I was in marketing PR, and we had this client who was an international known coach. And I spent 2 hours kind of providing counsel to her in regards to her relationship with her daughter. And I got off the phone and I said to my best friend and boss, she's like, "Did you?" And I was like, "Yeah. I'm really sorry that's going to end really badly." And it did. She fired us a month later and fired us because she said, I, me, didn't know who or what her business was. And I did. I just saw beyond the curtain and she didn't like it. And I said, this is going to keep happening. So I'm going to go freelance. And
Yeah.
3 months came by and my best friend and boss went, "So you're going freelance today?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I totally forgot. She's like, "Oh, no, no, no. You're going freelance. You already said." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I did. And I went to a conference where I was speaking about essential oils and life purpose. And I came off the platform and people were lined up to talk to me. And they're like, "Can you tell me about my guides and teachers? Can you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know how I can do all that, but I can do it all." Um, and so, yeah, that's how kind of I got started.
And so you just allowed yourself to believe what you were hearing was true and leaned into it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had a choice. I mean, I really don't think I had a choice.
Yeah.
It was like going downhill on a bicycle without any brakes. I was like, "Okay, we're doing this. Let's do it." Like, no choice. And I was really miserable in my job and
Mhm.
um trying to make a round box square and a square box round. I was in marketing and PR and I'd be like, "Look, you can't do that. I'm not being negative. You can't do that. Like, that's not going to work." And I knew that it wasn't going to work on an intuitive level. I just didn't know that's what I was doing.
Right.
Right. And so when I stopped kind of berating myself, things got a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I spent all of my success, I would say all of my success in business was attributed to my ability to follow my intuition. So if I was in an organization or a department where it was safe, where I was had permission to experiment and what did not have to explain why I was choosing to bring the team in a direction, we flourished, we
Mm,
succeeded. Um, where I was micromanaged, we didn't flourish, right? Because then I was like doubting myself and
right.
looking for the reasons, right? Why this would work when there is no explaining truth, right?
Yeah.
And so I have slowly leaned into it. I didn't quickly, like you did, lean into accepting that this is what's been going on in my life. There are certain areas where I've been able to openly say, well, this is what's going on. Coaching,
Yeah.
right? It's like I would just let it stream. I had no idea. Sometimes I would record the meetings because, Gail, what did you
You
just
never know
say?
where you're going to say, yeah, I don't know.
Don't know why. What did I just say? Right? Because it didn't come from me. Now I am intentionally and purposefully connected. I'm intentionally and purposefully listening. I'm intentionally and purposefully actually leading other spiritual leaders um, during the next 12 to 24 months of change that's happening, working together with them to support each other in the turmoil that's coming, that's already started, quite honestly. And it's a good thing. It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
all change is good. Change is good. So, so give me an example of specifically some of the things that you've done with clients so that people can actually get their arms around how this what seems to be mystical and magical actually relates and is very relatable in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just worked with a client like a half an hour ago about her marketing. I'm like, okay, so she's like, well, I don't market, but I think I know I should market. I was like, well, she's like, they say marketing is 70%. It's like, whoa, let's go back into our connection and let's ask some questions so you can also feel and understand what resonates with you with marketing, mind, body, and soul. And then let's go do that. So we did that. And she's like, oh my God, this feels so great. I'm so excited. Right. Versus doing those things that she didn't want to, that she was told to do, that wouldn't go very smoothly. It wouldn't get the results that she wanted. So that's what I did so far this morning. Some of the past things is really about, I think so often, especially spiritual led entrepreneurs, they understand from a practical point of view what, in the moment what they're offering, but they don't ever know how to put it in words. And I'm like, that's fine. We can ask those questions to your business soul and it will give us tangible answers, because you have to make it tangible so people can, so it's grounded, so you can manifest it and people can understand it. And so those are some things that we do. I work on anything from, letting go of limiting beliefs to, actually creating a vision from scratch to understanding your sacred purpose. I think people really mix up purpose and their delivery systems. And I think when you ask somebody their purpose, they always include the external world, and it's not about them, it's about you first. And people are like, my purpose here is to be an author. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're
No, it's
like
not.
shocked.
No,
I'm
it's
like,
not.
that's a
Yeah.
delivery system. Let's
I
talk about the purpose so you can align those delivery systems. And everyone just wants a place, but I think people so often think their place has to do with every other human being on this planet, and it doesn't. It has to do with us first, and then we can move into sharing and being of service.
so from my perspective, I'm the only thing that's real in this universe. And even that's not real. Right? That's actually a reflection or a projection, not a reflection. And then everyone else are the people that I want in my play on my stage, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? If something is not resonating with me, and I'll give you a very solid example, and this is the type of work that I do with people, right? Um, I was having a struggle a little while ago with the masculine energy. Now, I used to have ridiculous masculine energy. I mean, you don't get to be on the board of directors without,
Mm.
literally bucking up. Um, and that's changed, and I'm very, very balanced now. But at one point, I was hearing the not the masculine energy in its purest divine form,
Sacred. Yeah.
right? but the masculine third dimensional interpretation misinterpretation of what that is. And it was really grating me. And then a spiritualist friend of mine said, the divine masculine is beautiful. And I'm like, okay, can I see the divine
Right.
in, right, in what's going on and not, and why am I allowing the non-divine to even impact me? What is it that I'm doing in my play to create this that I have to learn from? So it's created by me for me, not
Right.
created for me, not created to me, but created by me. And as soon as I own that, I mean, everything changes.
Yeah. I mean, I always say, listen, we're all on our own channel. And
Right,
I'm making a cameo on your channel right now, but we're still on
right,
our own channel. And
right,
so often when we're trying to kind of program someone else's channel, it never really works. And we wind up really suffering. So
love
I
that.
teach people to really be intimate with themselves and their business in order to succeed.
And I love that because what I've been doing over the past, I would say since April or May, is really owning that my business is me, right? It is me. My product is me, right?
I
And
would disagree with that.
oh, okay, well, we'll get there in a minute because I'm the one who has to resonate with it. And as soon as I find resonance within myself, then I can bring that to the world,
I
right?
would say it is you call in a product or a business to do something bigger first for yourself and then for others.
Right,
It has its own energy. It can give you information about it in order for it to succeed. That energy is never going to say something you don't resonate with. It will say something you're in resistance about. And that's where we go internally to go, okay, why don't I want to do those 3 videos?
right,
Right? Like, why don't I? Because it it's not that it doesn't resonate, it's because I'm in resistance about some other limiting or, belief system that doesn't serve me. So we're kind of saying pink and salmon, it's the same color. We're just saying it differently.
right, right. And resonance is like that's a word I use constantly, right? And resonance and resistance. And I love the line resistance is futile,
Well,
right?
that's what my thing is. I'm the Borg of goodness.
Yes.
Resistance is
Oh my God, you
futile.
and I are so alike. It's
Right?
crazy.
Like I'm like, listen, like goodness is going to happen. You can resist it or you can get on the bus. And I think most of us are really afraid to really experience the goodness because we're afraid of what people will think or we're not good enough or any of that 60 million other reasons we could come up with. I'm sorry,
Right.
I have the hiccups. So
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. One of the other um ahas, if you will, that I've had recently, I used to believe, and it took me a while to get there, that the root of the root of the root of our beliefs, our resistance, our shame, or is shame. Like shame is like the root. And then I started looking at shame. I'm like, I'm not feeling like that's it. I
shame
mean, it's
is
a
out.
good one. It's
Right.
a
Yeah.
good one, but it's not it.
No.
And it really is, you know, unworthiness, right? We're not good enough. And I'll get angry because we're not good enough. I'll get sad because I'm not good enough. I will have all even shame because I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
right?
Uh, I think there's only three limiting beliefs and they all come down to them: unworthy, unworthy of love, or you believe love is conditional. And when
Yep.
you do like, oh, okay, so which major, unsustainable belief that I'm in, and it's really a misinterpretation, I think, of soul, because soul is always saying more, 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 and our little brains interpret that as not enough, not enough, not enough.
Right, right. And it really is so for my interpretation, right? Because that's all this is my show. This is
Yeah.
my life, and you can tell me about yours. Um, is I chose to come here for the purpose of an experience, and that experience is for the purpose of the universe to expand, right? And so the universe wanting more is like a child who's having a blast
Yeah.
and saying, that was so much fun. Let's do more. Or let's do it again. Even the pain. That was so much fun. Let's do it again. If I look at my pain as there's a reason why I'm going through this, it's not quite so bad
And it's not so quite painful.
because the pain is the resistance
Right.
of the experience, right? I just finished 12 months of cancer, which I was healing by myself, but I still went through Western medicine. I did both. There's a whole story on that. And I leaned into it. I'm like, I know why you did this. I know why I did this for me. And I'm not afraid of it. I know that I'm going to come out a completely changed person.
Love it.
And I had a love affair with the universe during that experience. I literally did,
That's beautiful.
right? And, yes, I had my lows, but I had a lot of highs too from those lows, right? One of the lows, and then I want to talk some more about some of the specifics that you do. One of the lows that I had um, was I'm yelling at the universe. Why? And then I started to laugh
Mhm.
because I said earlier, I am the creator, right? So I'm like, I'm laughing, I'm yelling at myself, aren't I? This is ridiculous. And I started to laugh because, come
Right.
on, I'm yelling at me, right? And then and I wrote a book, and this is in the book. I saw the cross of Christ, and I heard, you will come out of this with the Christ energy. Now, guys, that's just fourth dimensional energy. And a lot of us are experiencing that right now. Right? Um, it has to do with healing. A lot of us are doing that right now. Right? I'm not special. I'm just another person who is being vocal about the path that I'm on.
Right.
Right? And I knew that what I was going through was for that purpose, for me to break down what resistance I still had in order to embrace what was waiting on the other side of that. Right? And it's just so beautiful. And I get to work with people now and watch them. Holy shit, Gail, my life just changed. And I do soul work. I do soul realignment work, right? To get to your core soul, which is your gift.
Hmm.
And my gift isn't so so my gift is truth. My gift is I'm a seer in truth. That's it. What I do with that and how I package that in the third dimension is up to me,
Right.
right? Right. So my gift isn't being a spiritual coach. My gift is I'm a seer in truth, and I use that by being a spiritual coach. That that's it.
Yeah.
So so what are some of the examples that you could share with people, specifics, without using names, of course, of I came thinking that this is what I was supposed to do. I realized after working with you, this is what I'm supposed to do. And here is how my life, my business, my trajectory changed.
I work with people who already have a deep understanding of who they are and they have businesses. What we do together is go deeper into that knowing. So
Mhm.
they're suffering a lot less, right? It's really about, so I have a client who had this really interesting experience with her ex-husband. where normally it would be very argumentative. Normally she would have gone into warrior energy. Normally she would have walked away, really aggravated, really upset, really angry. And she came back with the interaction of like, I don't have any, like, it was totally forgiveness. And I just offered him this, and it was a totally different conversation. She said, I'm showing up in all areas of my life, really being more of who I am and expressing who I am and not worried about what people think or feel about me. And the results were she got 2 new clients. So, what I do is really help people break through that spiritual glass ceiling where that
Yeah.
they know that there's more to experience. They're successful, and yet there's something kind of aching inside of them going, there's more here. Why am I not experiencing more? I'm really good also at helping people who use their warrior energy to make war with things, mostly internal, uh, instead of utilizing it focusedly. Focus with, you know, when you use warrior energy consciously, you're an unstoppable freight train of goodness. When you use it unconsciously, you wreck cars. Like it's kind of cut and dry, right? And so people, who have warrior energy are using it unconsciously, they're like, wow, my clients are doing amazing. Why do I not feel like I'm doing amazing? Like, what is wrong with me that I can't get the same results that they're getting? Or what is wrong with me that I don't feel like I'm walking on air and they do? And that's just about disconnection. So, I'm all about connection, right?
Mm.
Understanding your soul languages is the kind of delivery system of that, but I'm going to always bring back people to connection. So those are a couple tangible examples. I think what the end result of all the work is the light bulb goes off over the top of their head and they go, wait, God loves me. And whatever they call that.
Yes.
Universe tree, Bob,
Right.
God, cupcake.
Right.
Wait, God loves me and I can have what I want. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like, okay, wait, I get it. Like this is just we're just on a board game and we get to play the game.
Yes.
And that becomes a totally different way of interacting with everything in the world.
Absolutely. The warrior energy for years, and I want to say at least 10, maybe more. My goddess, if you will, is Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin was a man, a warrior. And the final battle, he realized if he won the battle, he would have lost the war,
Mm,
lost his people. So he surrendered. And in the surrendering, he transmuted into a woman who then nurtured and loved his community or her community. And the story goes, Kuan Yin never has died, has ascended, but has never died. Well, none of us are going to. We're all going to ascend, whether we like it or not.
that's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole other episode, right? It's coming, baby. So when you say it's the warrior energy, I think, I can relate so much to that. I told a story just last week about as a child, I lived in the inner city on the third floor and we had a porch, and I used to walk the railing of the porch. It never occurred to me that I was perfectly safe. It never occurred to me that I wasn't perfectly safe. So I was perfectly safe, right? Never slipped, nothing. What happened between that child and this child?
School
Well, yeah, yeah,
experiences.
yeah,
Someone
fear
told
and
you to, yeah,
unworthiness
yeah,
and yin, right? And so I will say today I'm walking the ledge, right? I'm going to make choices that are ledge-worthy choices
fun. Yeah,
because
it's that
that's
moment where Wild E looks down at the ground, right? Like when
yes.
he, right? Oh, wait, I can't do that. No, no, no. You can do it. Just keep
You
going. Just keep running.
just
Don't
keep right.
stop.
Yep, yep, yep. Just keep going. Um, and the beauty and the joy and the love of it is, you know, um, I'm building a community of people like you, um, for the purpose of sharing what we're experiencing as the awakening happens, um, because it's accelerating and we're all experiencing it differently. And to be able to share that with others from an experiential purpose, not, I heard that this is happening, I've read that this is happening, or, it's like, this is what I'm feeling. I have found that when I do that, I am not alone in what I'm feeling,
Mm.
right? And that means it's normal. There's waves upon waves of energy shifting happening, and it's going to increase. And I'm looking for the community, to build this cocoon where we can be in Noah's Ark, if you will, when the wave comes, right? And then the next wave comes. There's like this predicted three waves coming, right? Um, that will be bam, 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 bam. So it's not like waiting forever. Um, and it's going to be evident. And I'm so looking forward to it. And I want to be with like-minded people. And I want to be part of that community, as do you, that help others wake up enough that they too can ride the wave.
Yeah, I mean, technically my people have been awake.
Yeah.
My people are for the people that some of them help other people awake, some of them are
Yeah.
helping the people who've been on the path for a while. I've always said I'm not really mass. I'm a healer of healers, so I'm for the people who are mass. I
Yeah.
just don't have that much patience for the masses. Um, it's that worry. I'm like, just stop in the story. Just like, let's tell the end of the book. But I think the more that each one of us focus on our internal process, kind of walking the line, so to speak, the easier it gets to help others and help the masses. Sorry, I just
Yeah. What I've discovered. Um, so I hold a weekly meeting. It's called the Next Level Living, and there's a meditation there. And right now we're covering patterns on the trestle board, and we're covering one prayer each week.
fun.
Oh yeah, with a meditation to go with it to anchor it in, and then a conversation about what that experience means to you. And I would say today there were two people. One who's like, I can't meditate. All right. I was like, that's fine. Just go with the flow, right? And he was feeling the warmth up, like I had Mother Earth come up, I had the universe come down, I had this happening and that happening. He's like, my body was getting warm.
Mm,
Like, okay, so you're feeling something. And then I explained that we meditate all the time. It's just an altered state, right? And for those of you who've heard, quiet your mind, that's impossible, that's bullshit, but don't hang on to the thoughts, just let them flow, right? Because I found if I tried to quiet the mind, I'm also quieting the universe talking to me,
yeah.
right?
I
So
mean, we as warriors, I suggest if you're going to kind of like all meditate, that you do it as a walking meditation because warrior energy
yes,
needs to move the energy.
yes,
But I also really believe like it's your sacred practice. Design a sacred practice, be consistent with it, or be consistent with a couple. Because if you're a renegade, you kind of need to move in and out of which ones
yep,
you use, or you get
yep,
bored. But pick one that works for you versus what works for me. Like that doesn't
yes,
work.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly. And I love like some of the people in my community, like I say I shut off my camera, shut off your camera, do what you want to do, because some of them are like floating around, some are standing up and moving, right? Some are
Yeah.
walking as I'm. right? Do you, right? And so, and I'm one that I will sit very still, but my favorite meditation is the walking meditation.
Yeah. I mean, I do that. I used to do it more with my first dog, but because Heart needs, she needs like, we need to make sure like there's not a bike coming by, blah blah blah. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go and ask myself, my divine guidance, my soul, a question, and then I'll go take her for a walk. And by the time I'm done, like the answer pops, right? Because I'm
Pops, yes.
allowing it to come in. I'm doing the busy work. Um, and I always tell like people like, go take a shower. Go take a shower. Like,
Take a long ride.
right. Do something where your mind is busy so you can listen to the divine guidance.
Yep. Yeah. I go on a road trip as frequently as possible. And I just came back from 7 weeks of driving across country and coming back. And spending a lot of time by myself on those long roads, um, allowing the thoughts to come in, right? And I don't write them down or try to record them, um, because it's the feeling and the shift
Yeah.
that's important, not the details,
Right.
right? Right. And then I mean, this was so profound. I was driving through Utah, heading west, and I started crying. And I'm like, this is so beautiful. Why am I crying? This is not the first time I've been in the desert. I've been to Sedona. I've been to Joshua Tree. What is going? And then I was like, I don't know. There's something magical going on here right now. Just let it happen. Right. Um, and I always come back from those trips different, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always more to learn, to grow, to awaken, to because we have no clue. We're such a small dot in all of the vastness of possibilities, right?
Yeah. I was watching something this morning, or I don't know, the TV was on, and somebody was talking. I think it was like a mystery show with like a mystery house and haunted. And I was like falling in and out of sleep. And I hear the woman go, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous if you think that we're the only people in that amount of space. And I'm like,
It's thank you.
yeah, kind of. It's kind of logical. Like, how egocentric can we believe that we are the only living life forms in that vast amounts of space?
Right?
Come on, people. Like,
Right?
let's get real. Yeah.
Right?
That just reminded me of it.
And from my perspective, all right, so we're going to get very woo-woo here, guys, and you don't have to believe me or it, but this is my story and my perspective. We've been visited, this planet has been visited, that all of us, our ability, like that missing link, the missing link that people keep talking about, are the aliens coming down and saying, okay, they're taking too long. Let's give them some DNA, get them going. Right? And they're watching, waiting for us to be at a level where we can actually communicate, um, from the right energetic space,
Oh, we
right?
can't have a good scorecard lately. I mean, come on.
Well,
Mm,
the scorecard is changing.
yeah.
The scorecard is changing, and I encourage those of you who are, um, looking for more, because my clients also they can't be complete novices. I'll burn their brain.
Right.
Right? They have to have, some level of awakening or awareness. Um, but there's always more, and reach out to Jennifer, reach out to me, with those questions, because it's now time for community.
Yeah.
It's time for
I mean,
community.
it's always been time for community. Like, I think people are very odd if they can just believe that because of all the modern conveniences and because we can Amazon anything, that we can just live alone in solitude. You can't, right? You need community, you need other people. When you pray, the divine universe, tree, Bob, God, cupcake, whatever you call that, is going to bring a human to help you. So if you're kind of anti-human, it's not really, your prayers aren't going to really be answered.
Oh my
Um,
God, that is so true. That is so true. I get my answers by you just said what I've been looking for,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
I will say, like the flash of an answer that you were talking about. Um, so you do it in a walk. I'll have to try that in a walk. I do it in my sleep. So before I go to sleep, I tell my subconscious mind, hey, babe, no dreams tonight. You're working. I have a question and I want you to go and find the answer for me, right? And I wake up with that flash and go,
Love
oh,
it.
okay. Because your subconscious mind's job is to do what your conscious mind tells it to do. And when the boss says, go do this thing,
Yep.
subconscious says, aye, aye, Captain, gonna go do this thing.
Let's make it work.
Let's make this happen, right? Um, no matter how bizarre. So, and I'll share, the first time that I did it because that was so very profound. Um, I've spent a good portion of my life bringing down some very thick walls that I was very good at building. Built some really nice beliefs and protection around myself. But there was like this one brick. I literally called it like this one brick I can't get rid of. So I said, okay, subconscious mind, tell me what this brick is so I can figure out what to do with it. I woke up the next morning, went, well, that
Mm.
was interesting. So I went and had coffee with my sister. Now she's like 10 years older than me. I'm the baby, 10 years difference from the youngest, right? I said, so mom tried to abort me, huh? And
Ooh.
failed. And she looked at me and she goes, how the hell do you know that? I said, well, my body knows. And I asked and I got the answer. So then she called me a witch. I was like, okay. Is this what happened, guys? But from a place of love, right? And so I was fortunate to spend some time in an Indian teepee tent, a sweat tent,
Hmm.
called my mom down and said, listen, mom, given the time, given your situation, given all of the parameters and the choices and your awareness, if I were in your shoes at that time in that situation, I would have made the same choice. Thank you for failing. I forgive you. Done. Done. Because I took ownership of the fact that I know I would have made the same choice.
Right.
Right. So how can I be angry at something that if the shoe were on my foot in that time and space,
Right.
right, I would have done the same thing. So that's what forgiveness is, guys, right? Is owning your piece, owning a different perspective, their perspective, and then forgiving them and then thanking them for failing or thanking them for having it be over, right? And then mostly forgiving yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's not about liking anything. It's about, forgiveness is, if if you move into deep acceptance, you'll just slide into forgiveness, right? It's not wanting to things to be different. It's letting go. It's not thinking that you're in London when you want to go to France, right? It's really allowing that deep, okay, here's where we are, here's where we were. And then kind of forgiveness is just kind of flows over you because you're not in that tug of war.
Right? Resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all boils down to resistance, right? And that was such a profound um, experience because I honestly believe I would not have been able to move that brick without
Well,
first
you didn't
knowing
even
what
know
it is,
it. Right. I
right?
mean, the part of you that was angry was so unaware because you didn't have the capacity that you do now, right?
Right,
Like it was
right,
all pre birth. So
right,
that's kind of amazing.
right. And that and I've done timeline work with people, and I start with before, during, or after birth, like your first response before birth, genealogy, past life, first response. All right, now we investigate, is it in your genes? Because that's a whole other thing, you know, 7 years, seven lifetimes or generations, the sins of the father. The Bible says 7 generations. Well, what do you think it's talking about? Right? So, yeah, there was a point again, I was feeling shame, and I knew it wasn't mine. I'm like, what the heck? And then I went, oh. So it was my mom and my dad who have passed away.
Yeah.
So I did a meditation where mom, dad, and shame, the four of us sat around in a circle. And I said, okay, I want to have a conversation about this. And it was hilarious because my mom literally put her arm around me. She said, oh, honey, that's long gone. Yeah, that was done.
Right.
Right. It's
Lovely.
that simple, guys. It's that simple. Right. Um, and I love when I get the opportunity to work with people on that. And, when you're talking about these hidden blocks that you're working on with people, that's the kind of thing they don't even know that it's there. There's stuff you don't even know that's there because it happened in birth, before birth, genealogy, past lives. You don't know.
Right.
Bring it up and let it go.
Definitely.
And then your
Yeah.
life changes. Yeah. So, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, Jennifer, how would they do that?
I think the best way is through my website at soullanguage.us. There's a discovery session on the website, which is a half an hour, so people can have one of their soul languages identified as my gift, so they can actually experience the work. I think that's important. I think that people should resonate with it and really see if it's for them, because I go deep very quickly.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic. And so, guys, do reach out to Jennifer. And as always, thank you for listening to the
Thank you.
Empowering Process podcast. If this resonated with you, give us a thumbs up.
Mm.
If you have a question, let us know. We'll get back in touch with you. If you know someone who could benefit from this, definitely share it out to them. And as always, subscribe so you know when the next episode comes. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye, Jennifer.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. Be sure to visit Gail at gailcraft.com to learn more about how she serves thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and goal seekers. And remember, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.